Hi, and welcome to the Loan Officer Team Training Podcast. I'm your host, Irene Duford, and I am super excited to have Alyson Rixner here with me. She is amazing. She is a friend. She is a person that I look up to, that we get to share lots of ideas back and forth. We do lots of masterminding together, and she is an amazing person that I wanted to introduce her to everybody. And so, Alyson, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Irene. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's tell everyone how we met. You want to tell the story, or do you want me to tell the story?
Why don't you start and I can fill in?
Okay, so many years ago, I was at a Freedom Club event and I met this amazing young man. His name is Oliver Orlicki, and he was coming to one of our events for the Freedom Club. He decided to join the Freedom Club, and I got the honor of being his first coach. And he is an amazing originator. At the time, he was living in New York City, in Manhattan, and doing all of his business in Florida. And he was one of the first ones that showed everyone that you could be in one city, in one state, completely different from another state, and be doing business there, because he started his business in Florida, right? He
did.
originally from Florida. And then tell us the story about how he decided, you decided, the two of you decided you wanted to live in Manhattan and still do your business in Florida. So let's talk about that.
Yes, he was a pioneer for sure before COVID and before everybody kind of went remote. He's been doing it since 2010. So that's when we moved to New York City. And it was always my dream to live here. My family's close by. And my career I needed to pivot, and it was time to do something different. And he selflessly sacrificed and moved to New York City for me. And everybody said we were crazy. And usually when someone says you're crazy, you should do it. I've learned that. It's taken me a long time to learn that.
Yes.
And here we are. It's been a wild ride, but it's been great. So and now I've joined him in the business, which we'll talk about, but he still does the remote thing. We still do the remote thing. So
yeah, but now you still do the remote thing, and it's been a great partnership together. So I got to meet you after I was his coach, and then he introduced me to you. And I just was so clear that you guys needed to work together. And so was he, but we weren't sure how that was all going to happen. But I still remember being in Denver at one of our Freedom Club events and sitting down with the two of you. I think we were at Chipotle.
We were at Chipotle. I love that you remember that.
For lunch. We were sitting there and kind of mapping what it could look like. And it still hadn't happened yet. It still took a few years after that, didn't it? To finally happen.
Absolutely. You planted a seed, and I'm forever grateful for you. Because if I wouldn't have gone to that event, both you and Carl had said, you guys need to work together.
Yes.
And I thought, oh God, there's no way I'm going to do that. And then I went to lunch with you and I was like, it's pretty convincing. I don't know. I need to think about this.
And like I said, it still took a little while, but the seed was planted, you started making plans, and then little by little it happened. And it's been a great partnership. You have skills and abilities and gifts that are different from Oliver's skills, abilities, and gifts. And you came together and created this amazing partnership. I'm so proud of you both. You've done such a great job, and just, it's been an honor to be his coach, to coach with you together that way. And then also just being able to work with you separately, just on our own stuff, just like a life coach. And I'm not crazy about the term life coach, but maybe just a success coach. That's what I like to call it. But It is life, right?
It's true. And it was true mentorship. I think you, having worked with your husband and now your family for so long, and having been in the mortgage business, I was able, and I want to say thank you. Again, I've told you many times, but I was able to walk into this with a true partner in you to be there to help me through the pieces of, oh my gosh, I'm about to leave my career and I'm going to start this company with my husband. I'm going to jump into his world. And I had you by my side. So I'm forever grateful. And anyone that gets to work with you is so lucky. And
Thank
Yeah.
you. You're so sweet. But it's been an honor. It's been a joy. Really, it has been to see you walk through the steps and be able to share ideas and come up with plans. And it's just been really fun to watch your growth. And it was fun when I got to come to New York City and even met with you guys for a little while. I happened to be there with my daughter when she lived in Philadelphia, and we came to see some plays and we were able to come see you. So you got to meet her, and it's just been fun to see you over the years and just enjoy being together. So what I love, for those listening, what I love about Alyson, one of the many things that I love about Alyson is how open she is. So Alyson, you're super open, you're spiritual, you're always growing personally. You're always finding ways to grow personally. You're always following your gut, which always takes you to good places if you listen, right? When you listen, which you always do.
Now I do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just love that you're always growing, and people need to have that type of growth in their lives. They need to, I think that when people grow personally, they grow professionally. And when they grow professionally, they grow personally. And so it's all one big realm of growth. And so you can never grow in one area without growing in another area. And I don't mean areas, I mean in your whole life. So talk to us a little bit about that and how you feel about growth, personal growth and business growth.
Yeah, and that's great. I love when you and I started talking about the idea for our topic today, that it isn't one-sided. And I think there's so much in life where people are like, okay, I have to completely separate work and like regular life or whatever people call that. But it really is one and the same, because when you make a core change, or you take a transformational step, or you choose to do the work to grow, you really want that to impact your life in all ways, because it's you,
Yes.
and you are your business, and you are yourself as a wife or as a daughter, or all of the roles that you play. And something that I learned that I think really like spurs growth in general is really making sure that you realize that change is good. I was somebody that really didn't like change for most of my life. And then over the last couple of years and everything that we've been through, and I left a successful career and kind of, jumped out of a parachute or a plane with no parachute, which was kind of crazy. I started to quickly realize that the changes that we make and the growth and the striving to ultimately lead a happier life and
Hmm.
have more peace. And in my opinion, peace is true freedom. What is freedom,
Yes.
right? We talk about that a lot. So what permeates one side of your life should really become part of your whole life, because that
Yes,
growth is kind of what it's all about, I think.
it is. Because it gets stagnant. If you're not growing, it's stagnant. And
Yes.
so it's fun to learn new things and new ways of doing things. And what I love about you also is your mindset. I love the fact that you're always looking for better ways to think about things, to intentionally put thoughts into your mind that are going to help you grow. It's the number one key to our success and happiness. So, what are some of your daily mindset practices, things that you do that help you on that journey?
It's changed a lot over the years. And I would definitely say that probably in the last probably 8 years ish, I've really focused a lot on mindset. And I've really turned it up over the last, we'll call it 2 years.
Hmm.
And waking up in the morning and making sure you have some sort of a daily routine is so important. And I know everyone's sick of everyone saying this, right? The 5 a.m. club and the cold plunge people, and everybody has their thing, their mantra or their journaling. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you start your day in a place where you can actually have some calm and centering and grounding, and really set your intentions for what you want your day to be. That's
Hmm.
so important with mindset. I know I've shared this with you. I'll share this with everybody else. I was a scroller in the morning on my phone, and it
Yeah.
was really impacting my life. And I took that away, and I can't believe how much better I feel by just getting up, doing some breathing, I'm not getting any younger, so I'm doing some stretching, which is helping tremendously, and journaling and quiet time and really setting my intentions. And the other thing that I'm doing is gratitude. It seems so simple, but every day in my journal, I write a few things that I'm grateful for and how I'm going to make the day great. What am I going to do
Yeah.
today to make my day great and
A
set it up?
great thing to start off with. Yeah. Do you ever do any gratitude at the end of the day, or do you do most of it in the morning?
So it's funny that you said that. Have you ever heard of the 5 minute journal?
Yes. Yes, I have it.
Okay. You do.
Uh-huh.
Of course you do.
Yes.
That makes sense. The 5 minute journal was kind of how I started, and I did it years ago. And just like anything else, I stopped, and I wished I would have kept going because I
Yeah.
think I would have felt better. It's amazing how that correlates, isn't it? But the 5 minute journal is that, right? You do the three things that you're grateful for, what you're going to do, three things for the day. And
Hmm.
then you come back at night and you do a couple at night. So you can kind of wrap it up. If
Yeah.
I have a thought, I'll think about it and kind of I won't journal about it. But I do think it's nice at night. Maybe I will start incorporating that more. Wow, it was a good day. Even though these things happen, this is what I'm grateful for, because stuff's always going to
Yes.
happen, right?
Yes. And at
The
the end of the
wild
day,
world
yeah, it
we're
is.
living in.
And I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's really nice to be able to focus on what went well instead of feeling like, oh, it could have been better. If you focus on what the few
absolutely.
things that went well, that things that made you happy or things that gave you peace, just anything you're grateful for. It could be anything. Just the
Yeah,
simplest little things can make you feel gratitude. And so that I've learned that. I
absolutely.
know Oprah for years talked about having a gratitude journal many years before all the rest of the gurus started talking about it. And my husband took it on. So Kevin took it on, and he never goes to bed without writing what he's grateful for. And this has been years now. He's been doing this, at least a few years, if not more. And I get to watch him do that at the end of every day. And it makes me feel really good inside to know that he is keeping track of the good things, because it's real easy to get off track.
So easy.
Yeah. It's easy
And
to
the
just,
days you don't do it.
yes, you can feel it. It's kind of like
It's
intentional self-talk in the morning. On the days that I don't do it, I can feel it. On days that I'm busy or I'm running behind or anything and I don't get it done, and I'm not listening to positive self-talk, it really makes a difference for the rest of the day.
and it's all about the energy that you want to bring in, right? Like you said,
Yes.
I'm very spiritual. I study energy. I do energy work, and it's a big thing. And it sounds so simple. And we really are all in our own way. We should just do
Yes.
it and feel better, right?
Tell them what energy work is, because a lot of people are not aware. You and I have talked about it at length, but I like to
Yes.
explain it to everyone else so that they know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there is the physical self, right? Which we can all see and touch. And, it's a third dimensional world that we live in. And the theory is, I don't claim for it to be like the word for everyone. Not everybody has to believe it, but it's what I believe, is that there are also energies that we can't see, right? So examples of that could be simple as you walk past somebody and you just get like a weird feeling, or you walk past somebody and you get a really good feeling.
Hmm.
Those are all energies. And I think the spiritual realm, if you want to call it that, is coming into the mainstream more. So I think we're just going to be
Hmm.
hearing a lot more about this over the course of time. And it really is what you put out comes back less karmically and more energetically, right?
Mm.
Because if you're having a good day, or if you're in a specific mindset, which is what we're talking about, you're probably going to encounter more people that are on your same sort of vibe. If
Hmm.
you're having a bad day, we've all had those days, like you have that morning where maybe something falls and breaks in the kitchen, and then it's just like this weird cascade because you're in a bad mood. And then the rest of the day, like, I don't know, you get a flat tire. There's a million things that could
Yes.
happen, right? And
Uh-huh.
you kind of sit back and wonder, like, why is that? Well, I believe that it's all energy, right? And
Hmm.
we are energetic beings, essentially. And I think that having those mindsets puts that energy in motion,
Uh-huh.
right?
And so you can not control. I don't like to use the word control because that's not really an energetic word to use, but
Right. Yeah.
you can manage your energy. I guess
Yes.
manage is a better word for it. If you
Yeah. And
start
it's
to
the
go
same,
off,
right? And it's the same when you feel drained,
Mm-hmm.
Think about those clients we have, or those agents we have, or the vendors that we have that we're just like, oh God,
Yep.
looking at the phone, I got to make this call. Well, grounding your energy and not allowing that person to kind of drag you down, it's also energy work, which is
Hmm.
important as well.
I like that. That's a good way to manage it. You have the ability to manage it one way, negatively or positively.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's good. So, how do you
absolutely.
work on the energy work each day? Like, what do you do as a daily routine?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. I think the most important thing is quiet. We live in a really, really, really busy, still, I live in New York City, so it's crazy
It's
here.
busy.
It is very busy. As everybody knows, it's very busy. I think being here is actually something that ushered me into this work, because I don't think I would be able to manage it if I didn't have this. But making sure you have quiet time so you could just be in your space without anybody else's influence is really important. There's a lot of things that you could do, like grounding exercises, even physical movement, taking a walk, working out, all of that stuff just kind of brings you back into your body. There's a lot of other techniques. I actually do Reiki. And so that is an energy healing work. My mom was very into it. My mom was a yoga instructor and a Reiki master. And so, I wanted to do that just to actually give it back to her. So I
Uh-huh.
got certified, and that's really able to kind of balance chakras and ground your energy, which is really cool. So there's a lot of stuff, even just like taking a bath with salt. There's so many things you can do to kind of energetically balance yourself. And I highly suggest that everyone do that because
Yeah.
it's wild out there.
It's difficult for me to just sit quietly. And it's something that my husband and I have talked about. He's suggested it to me in every way he knows how.
Yeah.
Just sit for a few minutes, Irene, just take a couple minutes. But I have to be doing something all the time, or just relaxing, reading a book, watching a show, that type of thing, but never just sitting quietly. The only time I sit quietly without doing really anything is when I'm in our temple. Our church has
Right.
a temple locally, and I'll sit there. That's the only place that I'm really, really quiet like that. And I need to do that more often. So I need to learn from you about how to sit quietly.
It's been a long road. I always joke that it took me 10 years to learn how to meditate. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And
Yes.
what people get so wrong about meditation is that they think their mind has to be still. And it's not that. It's just letting the thoughts pass and being an observer, right? That's
Yeah.
really all that meditation is.
I like that, being an observer, so that you're
Yeah.
not into what you're feeling. You're just observing and then letting it pass. I like that. That might help
Yeah.
me to a couple minutes at a time at the beginning, right? One step at a
Try
time.
it for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's anything you can do. The quiet is, I really believe that when we're quiet is when we're able to be clear, because we're not distracted and infiltrated with a lot of other things. And I
Yes.
even find myself, here everybody has their AirPods in, and I'm guilty of it too. But the other day I did a 5 mile walk, which was long. And I said, you know what? I am just going to take these out and I'm just going to be present, and I'm just going to see what's going on. I'm not going to have
Yes.
anything in my ears. And I was so calm afterwards.
Yeah. It
I
makes a
put my
difference.
phone on do not disturb. Yeah, it was just like, and it really does. We have to get quiet. We have to get quiet.
Yes.
It's so important.
You can hear the birds. You can hear people talking as they're walking. You can
Yeah.
hear laughter when you're out, among people. Kevin and I take a walk every morning. And when we get back, sometimes if we get out early enough, when we get back, the weather is in the 90s right here, right now in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm
And it's
sure.
still not hot. Usually it's hotter than that right now. So we've enjoyed the coolness in the morning, and then coming back, and I'll go sit by the pool. I'll put my feet in the water to cool off a little bit. And that is a time that I can be quiet as well. So that's my takeaway for today
And
is to just
outside,
do that.
that's even better.
Yes.
Getting outside is also, but you're going to like movement, quiet outside. You're checking it all.
Yes. All of them. But what I love
Yeah.
about it is listening to the birds. You can
Oh,
hear the
nature is
birds.
so healing.
Yes. And sometimes I'll turn the waterfall to the pool on, and it's
Yeah.
really sounds so calming. And there's my takeaway. I've gotten what I
That's
needed out of the
beautiful.
podcast.
Oh,
We're done
amazing.
now. No, I'm kidding. So let's talk about mindset a little bit. How has mindset, like being intentional about your mindset, how has it made your life better?
I was not somebody that was an optimistic person by nature. And I won't go into the reasons why. I'm someone that struggled with anxiety in my life and trying to control a lot of things. And just like I said with energy, when you walk into your day or a meeting or an interaction in that sort of energetic mindset where you're just kind of down, and it's okay to feel that way. But, and I'm not saying that, I mean, emotions are very important. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying, but being able to walk into a situation neutral, to give that particular moment in time and space to be what it needs to be, as opposed to you just walking in and kind of wrecking it with whatever happened 10 minutes before, that's totally changed. And I think the biggest thing that has changed my life is trying to be in the present moment. And that's the hardest mindset, because we're so focused on what's happening in the future or what happened last week.
Yes.
It's really hard for us to be present, and we're so distracted, right? And having that mindset of, I'm going to be present and I'm going to give this moment a neutral place is incredibly important. And it really is transformational. I feel so much calmer.
Yes.
So
I've
much
noticed
calmer.
that too. When I'm in a place where I can be more quiet and not be busy every second. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be busy every second. I've always been that way, where I've been busy all the time, busy with good things, a lot of good things, not anything that would be bad, but just busy. And you realize that there comes a point where you have to calm down and just be in the moment. And I'm working on that. It's an enjoyable thing when you do it and you're working on it and you feel like you've accomplished it for the day.
Absolutely. And busyness, I mean, this could be a whole other episode of the podcast, but we are so conditioned to be busy.
Yes.
You got to be busy. Busyness equals success, equals goals, equals money, equals. That's not always the case.
No, it's not
at all. And I think that things are shifting and changing, at what point, and people are just burnt out. I've been through so much burnout in my life. And why do we get to burnout? Because of
We're
that.
too busy. Yes.
And we're not balanced. And I think that
Yes.
that's the key, right? No one's saying that mindset has to be, positive and happy all the time, but allowing those days, we all have those days, just to neutralize, start the next day fresh. It is a new day. It's a new moment. And I'm really trying to do that throughout the day.
Yes.
If I have a call with my team that's frustrating, or, whatever, right? Fill in the blank. I don't want to walk into that next interaction dragging all that baggage.
Yes.
It's not fair to whatever that is, right? I like to, compartmentalize things. And another thing that I would love to talk about is what's going on in the industry right now, and the mindset of mortgage loan originators and people in the industry. It has been very negative for a while now.
Oh yeah. And fearful, full of fear. A lot of people have allowed themselves in the mortgage real estate industry to be very fearful. And it really, when I say allow themselves, that's exactly what we do. We allow ourselves to go into that space. And some people just don't have the tools. It's not their fault. They just don't know what to do to get out of that fear mode, especially if somebody grew up in a family where fear ruled a lot of things. It made the decisions for them. So how do you work through that with fear? How have you and Oliver and your team worked through that?
Yeah, I think it's so important to talk about this. And you and I have talked a lot about this, and we've supported each other. And I'm grateful for that, because that's another thing. You need like-minded people around you.
You do.
Full stop. Right. And that's why you and I have developed such an amazing relationship over so many years that we've known each other. We have the same thoughts about how we view the world.
Yes.
And it's important. But the narrative out there, the housing market's going to crash. How long has everyone been saying that? Rates are going to be 10%. Still hasn't happened. On and on. I could go on.
Yes.
That is what I call a narrative. There's some truth based in some of it, but a lot of it is conjecture. And a lot of it is media driven in order to make more money, right?
Yes.
Splashy headline, or clip that stresses people out. We all know how that works. And just because someone says something, especially in this realm that we're talking about, doesn't make it true for you.
That's the truth.
Right. And jumping on that person's view of the world, that's no longer you. That's
Mhm.
you. And there's an energy to that too, right? We can wrap the energy thing back in,
Yes.
kind of riding that train. And I mean, look what happened over the last couple of years. Look at
Yeah.
how fearful everybody was over many, many things that went on. And I really try to lead by example with my team.
Uh-huh.
And being a business owner and being a leader, it does start and stop with you.
Yes, it
So
does.
there's days that, I've gone on to team meetings just wiping tears away from my eyes and slapping on a happy smile because that's what my team needs. They don't need to
Yes.
see me stressed. And there's days that I feel that way for sure.
Mhm.
But I really, again, with that quiet and connecting to me, being able to discern if something I hear or ingest, is that for me?
Mhm.
Is this something that is for me, that is going to serve me? If it's not, it's out.
Yeah. And let's talk about the details of how we
Yeah.
change from feeling one way to feeling another way in a few moments.
Yeah. I mean, I know what works for me, and I can certainly talk about that. I know there's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of tools out there. I
Mhm.
have been in therapy on and off for a very long time, plus energy work. I read a lot. I follow a lot of people that, again, similar vibe with
Mhm.
mindset. And I think, like I said, having people around you that are that way is really
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
You are a product of the people you surround yourself with.
Boy, isn't that the
My
truth?
mom used to say that to me when I was a kid, because she would always know the friends that were not good for me. She has like a 100% jump shot, bam, with all of the friends I should not have been friends with. She was right about
Yes.
every single one of them.
I know.
The people you're around is who you become. I'm like, oh, that's so stupid. I'm 13. What the hell did I know? But it's true. And if somebody's draining you, you either need to have a conversation with them and be like, look, that's your stuff. Don't bring that here. Or
Mhm.
that might not be the right person for your life, as hard as that is to say.
Yeah.
But having people around you that can lift you up and support you and, you know, view the world the way that you do. And I'm not saying that we should be in an insular pocket, right? It's okay to have people but if there's that person on your team, in your life, and it's huge with trying to cultivate a team. I really
Mhm.
do not want people on my team that are constantly complaining. I won't have it. I don't want to be
No.
around that.
Mm-mm. There's
It's
plenty of people
cancerous
out
to the
there.
organization is what
Yes.
it does. It will infiltrate. And there are plenty of people out there that vibe with what I'm trying to build and what Oliver's trying to build with our company.
Mhm.
It's,
Yeah.
but in the moment, it's very, very easy to start feeling yourself go into fear or feeling yourself go into like a downward spiral.
Mhm.
Just taking a step back, walking away from your computer, hanging up the phone. You know what? I got to go. Can I call you right back? Just
That's a great idea. Yes.
come back to you.
Yep. Get up, walk around,
Yep.
take a breath,
Take a
disconnect.
walk,
Yeah,
go
take a
outside
walk.
if you have to.
Mhm. I get up and I'll run downstairs. I'll
Yep.
come back upstairs. I'll go down, get a drink of water, just come back up, and then I'm refreshed again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Do what you need to do to be okay.
Mhm.
It doesn't take that long.
No, it doesn't. I'm a
It
firm
doesn't at all.
believer of disconnecting for a
Yes.
few minutes. Even if you're not in fear, you're not having any problems or whatever, you
Yeah.
just need to have times where you disconnect from work and get up and walk around, move around, whatever you need to do. Go outside, smell the fresh air if you're in a place where you can smell fresh air. Just do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do to disconnect. But I really believe in disconnecting. So there was a book called The Power of Full Engagement by Tony Schwartz. And he wrote it with another person. I can't remember the other person's name, but it's called The Power of Full Engagement. And it was a life changer. Just listening to him talk about, because he was a a high performer. He helped high performers and tennis players and, famous people that he helped. And they all have a routine and they all disconnect, because if you don't disconnect, you burn out.
Yeah.
And so I've taught that to people that I coach over the years. It's really important to have that disconnection time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about now, just we're so, I don't know if this is the right word, but like screen focused. We're just constantly in front of
We're on a
screen.
screen. Yes.
This is not how humans are supposed to like live. It's just not
No.
how, but and it's fine, right? I'm the biggest fan of technology. I love that I can work from anywhere, but there's a
Yes.
big price to pay for that.
There
There is.
is.
It's not normal for us to be like this all day.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
Not.
We have to make more of an effort to get in front of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. You and I have talked about getting together. I've been there, but you haven't been here yet. So eventually
I'm
we will.
coming.
Yeah. But we have to be
100%.
intentional about it, right? We have to plan it, because we all
Yeah.
say, oh yeah, let's get together, let's plan it. And then it never
Yeah.
happens. I'm notorious for that too. But
Yeah.
then sometimes I'll just stop and say, okay, let's actually plan it.
Right. No,
Because
we
if
have
we
to do
don't,
this.
yeah, if we don't
Absolutely.
plan it, it won't happen. So do you have a loan partner who does the loan consultations, structures the loan, and converts the buyer to work with you? Or maybe you have a loan partner or a team member that you would like to move into that position so that you can be freed up to go get even more loans. How about a newer loan officer who could benefit from some training in how to convert buyers to work with them? Our client conversion training is very specific to this role. It will help them convert even more clients to work with you and your team. We help you to be seen as a trusted advisor. We cover every aspect of converting clients to work with you. They're going to learn emotional intelligence, what it is and how to utilize it. They'll discover the key to a success mindset. Yep, we go deep on this one. How to build rapport right from the first conversation. How to ask the right questions. How to answer objections. Specific dialogues and strategies to overcome rate shoppers. They're going to practice live with other class members. And they're going to also learn how to ask for and receive referrals. How to master the loan consultation with loan strategies that help the buyer make great decisions for their future. Client conversion training will set your team apart when they implement the training that they're going to receive in our class. It's a virtual interactive class on Zoom with live trainers, and your team members can attend from wherever they are as long as they have audio and video. Everyone participates. It's a 10-hour live class divided into 2.5-hour sessions from 9 to 11:30 on Thursday and Friday for 2 weeks in a row. Sign up your loan partner today at loanteamtraining.com. You'll find the class on the Client Conversion Training tab. But the mindset, those little things that you do, that's what I wanted to share, is those little things that you do each day that really help you to have a good mindset. And for me, it's one of just changing, like being aware of what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. And is that really helping me? Is it helping me be who I want to be? Or is it taking me down a different path it all happens to all of us. I've been working on having good self-talk for lots of years, and I still say things and think things that I shouldn't. And, we have old programming that we're still working on. And so we just have to be really intentional, and I'll catch myself. I'm aware of catching myself. So I try to remember that everything I think and say is not true. It's just thoughts that go through your mind, old programming. And I just catch myself and then reword it. It's that simple. So if I start to go, oh, I don't feel like exercising today. And then I'll say, no, I am a person who regularly exercises. And if you keep repeating that to yourself over and over, you will eventually believe it. But it feels like you're lying to yourself when it happens. Like when you're saying
Totally.
it, you're like, no, I'm not. I'm not a regular exerciser.
But you are. Think about all the times you've exercised in your life.
That's right.
It's never enough, right? I mean, it's never, and we ebb and flow, but that's so beautiful. You've been incredibly influential in the self-talk. And I used to be somebody that was like, well, when I do this, or I will be, or, in the future, I started saying, I am this, I am,
Mhm.
I am, as opposed to it being not in this moment, as opposed to it not being true for me now.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I'm so happy that you do that. And it's just been so fun to be on this journey with you and see how you have utilized these habits that you have in your life to have a better life. I mean, I've heard you, as we've talked, I've heard you talk about things that have happened that you have intentionally done something about to make sure that it turns out better than it would have had you just let it go on. And in your thoughts, in your actions, in the things that you say to yourself, and talking to ourselves, everyone talks to themselves, whether it's out loud or, or in your head, you still
Totally.
talk to yourselves,
Right.
but it's what we say to ourselves that matter. And, I've been on this journey I had gone for a long time eating really well. I had been to a neuro chiropractor that was amazing here in Chandler, and he got me eating better for leaky gut. I don't know if you've ever heard of leaky gut,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, so he got me on track. This was a few years ago. Like in 2019, I went a whole year. I cut out sugar and gluten
I
and
remember
dairy
that.
and all
Yeah.
of that. And for a whole year, I was eating right. I felt greater than I had felt in a long time. I lost weight. I did it for the health reasons, but all the other things were benefits. And then COVID came around and, we didn't have anything to do. And little
Whew.
by little, I let that
Yeah.
little bit start slipping in. And now I need to get back on track again. And I know that I can utilize the self-talk to do it, but there's a part of me
Absolutely.
that's still fighting it. And I need to get that under control. And I'm just being totally honest. This is just letting you know that I don't care how good, how much you work on your self talk, there's always more things to work on. That's what I love about life and about
Yeah.
personal growth.
Oh,
No,
it's never over. There's
it's
no end
never,
point.
there's always things to
No.
work on. And it's fun, being on that journey. So I'm being open and vulnerable and honest, saying that I'm trying to get back in there, but trying doesn't work. It has to be a
Yeah.
commitment.
And it's consistency. And it's
Yes.
hard. Think about all
Yes.
the narratives, and
Yep.
all the, if life had only restaurants that had food, according to your leaky gut protocol, boy, would that be a different conversation that we would be having. We'd have another problem about something else, I'm sure. But
Yes.
there's something that when you were saying that, and thank you for being so open, and you have been always so open about your health journey. And you and I have shared a lot of that. I'm in my 40s now, and I'm finally happy with my body. That was especially as women, again,
Uh-huh.
a whole other podcast episode we could
Yes.
talk
We could do
about
a whole one on that.
for sure. But I think a lot of it is these distractions exist so that we can continue to level up. We can either find them exhausting and we can let them suck us in and just give in, which we can do, and then we can come back to it, right? That's okay
Yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's about the journey. It's not really about the end point. But having those people around you that can be like, you can do this, you can do this. And the
Yes.
more you have that, the more you have your self-talk. Now you've created your own ecosystem of support so that you can actually go and do what you need to do for your health, for your money, for your business, for your relationship.
Yes.
It matters so much. And every single thing that we either intentionally see or see in our periphery is coming into our conscious or subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. That's something that, nobody can deny. That's just how it works, right? And we have
Yes.
to be so discerning. And it's funny, it's like we're always the ones that are in our own way, but I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
I
It's
used to be
part
like,
of
oh,
growth.
why is this so annoying? Like, oh, I can't get out of my own way. Well, that's how it was made. You're no different than anybody else.
Yes.
And Oliver and I talk about that all the time. He's like, I can't get out of my own way. I'm like, neither can I. It's just the way it is, right? And I think another thing that I've really been resonating with that I wanted to share that's kind of all about this is we think that life is supposed to be easy. Let me do anything I can to like make myself comfortable or make myself easy. And we're so spoiled as humans now, right? It's like
Yes.
we are just incredibly spoiled. And I don't think that's how it's supposed to be anymore. I just constantly had this, let me just reach for comfort. Now I want to be as uncomfortable as possible.
I like
And
that.
such a freedom in that, right? And that's a
Yes.
mindset shift too, in a different
Hmm.
way, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, bring it on. What's next? Like, all right, let's go. And before I'd be sitting in the corner like, I don't want, I don't want to do this. And now I'm like, let's go, And I think experience and age and again, the people that are around you. And I have so many people that are doing big things and taking big risks. And it's like, that's when life is fun.
Yes, I agree. Today I was teaching our WOW training class earlier today. My husband and I were teaching it. And I said, okay, so we put them in groups in Zoom rooms, so that they could role play
Right.
how to make calls and how to ask for referrals and stuff. And when they were done, I said, okay, so you guys are comfortable now? And they all went, no, we're not comfortable. I said, good, you're not supposed to be comfortable yet.
You're like, that was a trick question.
That's
You
right.
walked right into my trap.
It's uncomfortable and it doesn't get comfortable until you practice, right? But yeah,
Right.
comfort is something I am always trying to find. It's interesting that you say that because you just made me think about something. I'm always trying to find an easier way to do something. Always. A
Yeah.
faster way, a quicker
Yeah.
way, a less uncomfortable way. It doesn't always work that way. Isn't Oprah the one that said, if I could pay someone else to lose weight for me or
Yeah.
to get healthy, I would have done, I've already been healthy. I'd have been, she looks great now. She's
She
doing
does.
great. She's on a
Yeah.
great journey, but look how many years somebody as wonderful as Oprah, and it took her, we all have something that we're not really great at. And I think we're always going to be that way because we have growth to do. And you know what I love about having something that you're not great at that you feel you should still work to get better at is it makes you compassionate to people
Yeah.
that have those issues, or it makes you realize, when you've lost a loved one, you know what it's like to
Right.
feel grief. It may not be the same grief that they're feeling. It's never exactly the same, but
Right.
you know what that feels like. When you get married, you know what it's like to be married, or when you have someone that you are in a
Right.
relationship with, you know what that's like. I think that's why we're always striving to get better, is because it makes us compassionate. It makes us relate to people.
Right. That's
And
beautiful.
people say, "Oh, it's easy for you. You don't, if somebody looks at another person who's successful and thinks that their life is all rosy, no. They have issues just like, and
No one's
anyone
life
that
is rosy.
doesn't is that tells you that they don't have
Right.
any issues, they're not telling the truth.
Right. And
So,
that's actually a very, I will say what you said and loop it right back to mindset and distractions. Social media is a snapshot of the best of everyone's life.
yes.
Everyone is like on vacation, chilling with a cocktail, hanging out with
Yes.
their friends, having a party, having a wedding. It's all of
Mhm.
life's celebratory moments. And every once in a while, there's a real authentic person, which I have so much appreciation for, that's like, my day sucks. And I'm just going to come on here and talk about it. It's not the norm. And I have so much respect for that. But we're looking at this real, right? It doesn't matter what social media platform it is. It's just all of these kind of images and snapshots of a person's life. And
Yes.
it's interesting because until you actually go through something and you can have some more compassion for whatever's happening, then I think if we were more that way, then maybe social media would be more real.
Mhm.
Because again, we're just trying to find comfort and happiness and the fun. When in fact, actually, when something is going on in your life that's hard and you can connect with somebody, that's a very different connection than if you're just like out partying with somebody and having a good time.
Yes. Yep.
Right. And
Mhm.
through those tough times, having people that you can talk to is also so important. That's another way that we can neutralize the difficult and the negative and the fear and all of the things that we've been talking about,
Yes. And
is to
that's where
connect with another human like you and I have done for our
yes,
relationship. It's amazing.
that's where relationships come in, having those key people in your life that you have relationships with, that you're friends with, that it could be a family member, maybe it's not a family member, maybe it's just somebody that you really connect with. But
Yeah.
that's so important. And those things that are so personal and so impactful in your life, the hard things that you go
Yeah.
through, those aren't meant to be on social media, really, because it's
Right.
like putting out what's very private and
Yeah.
hurtful. You may go through hurt, but they are meant for people to have relationships. But what we have to realize is there are kids growing up now and my grandkids are part of them. And my kids, came in at the tail end, the age that
Right.
you're at, really at the beginning of social media. So
Right.
you didn't grow up with it as a
Mm-mm.
teenager, but you got it as an adult. But these kids that are growing up with it, there's so much that their parents need to be talking about and helping them through to be able to not get sucked in by everything that's happening on social media. Because even adults get sucked in. So can you imagine what it's like to
I
be a
was sucked
teenager right
in.
now? Yeah, we all
Can't
get
imagine
sucked
if you're
in.
10. I mean, it's listen, social media and the algorithms and the way this is also fact, right? They know who we are. They being the
Yes.
algorithm, right? They know who we are, they know what we like, and it is it is meant to suck you in. It is meant to suck you in
Yes.
and meant to have you consume things,
Mm-hmm.
content, purchases, whatever that may be. And
Yes.
being intentional about that, it is. I can't tell. I just can't say it enough how much taking that away, because when I wasn't on it in the morning, I just didn't go on it as much during the day. And
Mm-hmm.
some people, I'm sure there's people out there that are very strong and can handle it. I thought I was one of those people and I'm not. So I can't even imagine how a kid feels. They don't even know who they are. And they're
Right.
just diving into everybody else's life. And that's
Yeah.
ultimately what it is.
And what it does is it gives us the opportunity to discuss those things with people that are close to us that are of that age, to talk about it, have a conversation about it, and help them
Absolutely.
understand. But social media is also not the enemy. It's also has a
Yeah.
lot of really great things.
Yeah.
You can keep in touch with people through social media like never before,
Yeah.
and feel close to them. Actually feel like that connection is back again,
Yeah.
and it'll connect you. And then it's also really good for business, right? I
Great for
mean,
business.
you think
Yeah.
about it, if it's intended to know who you are, they know if you're using it for business purposes,
Yeah.
you're like for ads and things,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to connect, to zero in on who you're connecting with and who is seeing your posts and things. So in that way,
Absolutely.
it's a good thing. But we just everything has to be balanced, right?
Right. It's not evil. I mean, social, and let's be clear too, social media is just a thing, is innocuous, right?
Yes.
It's the people that built the algorithm behind it, or, are you okay today that you can go on it? Or are you having a day where you want to reach out and connect? And,
Mm-hmm.
it's not evil. It's all of the things. It's all of how we feel wrapped into the phone, which
Yes.
is crazy.
Or
But
the
that's what it is.
computer, either one, the
Right.
laptop. Yeah.
And it's been amazing for business. I know, Oliver and I really started putting ourselves out there, I would say probably in late 2021. We came into it kicking and screaming. We didn't want to do it either. We're true Gen Xers where we're like, okay, I guess we have to do this. We weren't mad at it, but we were just kind of late to the party. So, but it's been wonderful. It's been really amazing
Yeah. It's really
for our
great.
business.
And I love the fact that we can see what the other ones are doing. Each one of our friends and stuff, you can connect. I mean, I have friends from high school that I would have never talked to anymore because I
Yeah.
moved away from California. I would never even see them in the market or anything. But because I'm on social media, I'm able to connect, and I've been able to reconnect with a friend from high school, and
Right.
she moved to Phoenix, so we go out to
Oh,
dinner
that's
like once
great.
every few months. It's great. But
Right.
without social media, we wouldn't have had that. So I don't know how we got on social media, but I'm glad we did talk about it because
Because we're
that is a
talking
big
about
deal.
mindset.
Yes.
That's how. And
Yeah.
it's so impactful, whether, you know, the yin or the yang of it, right? It's
Yes.
impactful either way. And again, just discerning, when is it too much? When do I need to jump back in? And
And
checking in with yourself. Am
that's
I
it.
okay to do this? Do I need
That's
some
it.
self-talk before I go on TikTok and
Yes.
record this, whatever? Like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Probably could use some self-talk to pump myself up.
Yes.
We
So when
just
we
have to
talk
be in
about,
our energy, right? And that's it. That's the key.
yeah, when we talk about self-talk, I want to be real clear what that is. I'll go back to that in a minute, but we have to, what you just said about being clear with ourselves about, are we in a space that it's okay to go on social media and it's not going to affect us? And what is some self-talk I could use before I go on there so that I don't get sucked into thinking that I don't measure up to other people? So a long time ago, many, many, many years ago, I was in a group with some women. It was at church, with different women. And I was in probably, I think I was in my maybe my late 20s or my early 30s. And, still at that age, still trying to measure up to everyone else,
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
look as good as they did or whatever it was. Not because you're so vain or anything, just because you want to feel good about yourself, right? So there was a gal she was beautiful. She was pretty. She had a really nice family. She had a couple young kids and she had a beautiful voice. And when I heard her sing in church, I could hear her sing in church and I heard her and I was, oh my gosh, is there anything this woman isn't? Right. She is just,
Yeah.
she's great, and I admired her and I was, not real close friends with her, but I knew who she was. And that was where I learned my lesson because one day we were somewhere, I don't remember where, and she said, yeah, my husband goes, I think he was a hunter. He goes and hunts. And every time he goes, he has to pay me money because he gets to go and I don't get to go. So he gets to pay me money and I get to go do whatever I want with it. And I was like, what is that? Like what? It was just
Yeah.
totally different than the way I am. And I remember thinking to myself, I wasn't judging her. She could do whatever
Right.
she wanted. She was
Right.
also talking about how everything she does is like designer this, designer that, which is total opposite of me. I'm not a
Yeah. You don't.
designer type. No, not at all. And so I remember thinking, okay, Irene, you've learned your lesson now. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't
Yes.
measure yourself by what someone else does. That was
Yes.
a huge lesson for me. I still remember it to this day. That's when I learned that everybody doesn't have life as easy as you think they do.
No.
Because I didn't have those issues with my husband, and I would not trade whatever she had compared to whatever I had because I had
Right.
an amazing husband. And, we didn't have this going on. And so I was
Right.
grateful for that. And I've
Yeah.
remembered that all these years is that everyone's life is not what you think it is. And everyone has their crosses to bear, so to speak. I have them, you have them, everyone has them. There's no perfect life. And so being aware, though, what you just said a little bit ago is being aware of how you can manage that in the best way possible to have a good life.
Yeah, and it's permeating our society. I'm so glad that we got to this point. I didn't even think we would talk about this, but we knew it would organically go wherever it needed to
Yes.
go. And I love that. I recently had the same thing happen to me. There was a person, this girl that I did a course with many years ago, and I always kind of admired her from afar. I just, for some reason, I thought maybe it was a past life thing. I'm into that. Like, we should be friends, right? And she has this really successful business and she's on Instagram. She's traveling back and forth between New York and LA. Fast forward years later, I reach out to her over DMs and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. And we literally have a 3-hour phone conversation and become like fast friends. Talk
Oh.
for 3 hours. I don't know when the last time I ever did that, probably since I was a teenager. And come to find out, we really went there with each other and really opened up, both of us. And she was telling me everything that was going on in her life, in this perfect Instagram life. None of that was in there. And
Uh-huh.
I'm looking from the outside being like, oh God, she's got it going on. This is like amazing. And then she's telling me all that's going on. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And
Yeah.
so even as I sit here at the age that I am, that influenced me. It did.
Mm-hmm.
She had no intention. She didn't even know that I was looking at her stuff.
Uh-huh.
Right. But here
Yes.
I was developing a false narrative about someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that same lesson that you did when I was like, wow, you just really don't know what's going on.
You don't.
You really don't. And that is so key to your mindset, because in my mind, I was like, God, my life would be better if. My life
Mm-hmm.
would be better if, or if I could, wow, that would be awesome. And you're placing yourself in that woman's life and being like, oh, what if I could do this and I could sing like this and I had this face that, whatever it is that you think
Uh-huh.
someone has that you don't.
Right.
Why are we feeling that way?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not true. Is
That's the
it
truth.
true? No.
No.
99% of the time, what we think about someone else's life is probably not true, that we don't
Yes.
know. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even people we do know.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, back to us, back to me. How can I get to a place where I feel centered and hopeful?
Yes.
Because now
First of
I
all,
finally, with all of this work, I feel hopeful. I haven't felt hopeful in a very long time. I have to be
mhm,
honest, because it's been an interesting couple of years in the business, in the world. It's been hard for all of us. And
yes.
getting to a place where that talk can really change your perspective on yourself and the world. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had really good times. So now I'm talking about the mortgage business.
Mm-hmm.
We had really good times, and then COVID hit, and we continued to do really well in the mortgage business because rates were so low for so long. And but everybody was busy. As I was coaching people, I was coaching them off the ledge of being so stressed out because of being too
Right.
busy, right?
Everyone was a
Happy,
wreck. Right.
grateful for the business, but too
Yeah.
busy. And I knew
Yeah.
eventually it would turn around and then we'd be going in the opposite direction. But at the same time, they were grateful, and everyone said the same thing on every coaching call. I know it's so crazy. It's so busy. I don't know how I'm going to keep up, but don't get me wrong. I'm grateful. Everybody
Yeah.
would say that. I'm very grateful because times were good financially. But then in the mortgage business, things changed so fast. I think it was unprecedented what happened. Things changed
Right.
so fast. That's why everyone was so fearful. They changed. The rates went up. The economy wasn't good. All of these things were happening at the same time. And rates didn't just go up, they shot up, right? There's a difference. So the
Right.
consumers, because of everything they were hearing,
Right.
they were unsure about whether to buy, which just caused this whole thing of people not buying. And then things were busy and not busy, and a lot of stuff happened all at once.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was a perfect storm for
Mhm.
fear, is
Yeah.
what it was. And then the media, including social media, because all of it is media, we allow ourselves to go down that path, and then we wonder why we're feeling so unhopeful
Yeah.
or having a problem staying positive when things are really, really hard. And we have reason to feel that way because of what's happening, but we control how we feel. We don't control it, we manage how we feel. And the way we can manage that is with good self-talk. So I said I would come back to it. And there is a website called selftalkplus.com, and it's an app as well, Self-Talk Plus. And it's by my mentor, Shad Helmstetter. I don't make any money on it or anything like that, but I recommend it to everybody I know. And what it does is it has topics it talks about, self-esteem. It has topics on losing weight. It has topics on being a business owner, on selling, on everything you can imagine is there. But in 2008 or 9, whenever that was, during the mortgage meltdown, I distinctly remember I had them on CDs. And that's the times we were in back then. I had them on CDs. We didn't have apps and all that back then.
Right.
And I don't even think he had it any other way but a CD at that time.
Yeah,
So
there
I was
wouldn't have been anything else.
no,
Yeah.
no. So I was listening to the CDs, and the one that got me through, it was the self-talk about having a good life, like just quality of life was the name of it.
Right.
And that literally got me through the mortgage meltdown. I suffered like everyone else did. I had a
Right.
hard time. My family got me through it, and my listening to Shad Helmstetter talk about how I had a good quality of life, because what it does is it feeds, if you listen to the self-talk, I think it's like $19 a month, totally worth it. And you pick a subject and you listen to it for like 4 or 5 weeks until it's a habit. And you listen to a little bit in the morning. It's like 5 minutes long, 6
Right.
minutes, something like that. But while I'm getting ready in the morning, putting on my makeup or whatever, I will listen to it in my headphones. Sometimes it's better to put it out loud so everyone around you can hear it as well.
Right.
If I
By
had a young
osmosis.
family at home, I would have it out loud.
Yeah, that's great.
But
Yeah.
I listen to it, and it starts your day out with positive self-talk. And when we talk about self-talk, for those of you that haven't heard about self-talk before, it's very specific languaging that you intentionally put in your mind in the morning so that you are repeating It's like affirmations. You're repeating it over and over by listening to it. Even if you don't say it out loud, you're thinking it as you're listening to it. And it's a repetition is what helps, the repetition of it over and over. And eventually you will believe it. So even if you don't believe it at the beginning, eventually you will believe it, because that's how our programs happen. Like, if you think about something that you automatically go to that's not even positive, it's negative, it probably came from some programming that you got when you were growing up.
Absolutely.
You know, the words, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, I can't afford that. Things like that was things that we probably heard, whether it was from our parents or our family or coaches, friends, whoever might have said things like that. And they said it so often that that's why we think that. So we have to intentionally change that. And that's how I do it, is by listening to that. And then you can get a little bit further. Once you've done that for a while, you can get further into it. And I have a exercise that I like to do where I put on the left side of the page a few things that are not helping me. And then on the right side, reword it. Yeah, you've done it. And
that's
it's
really
good.
powerful.
It is, isn't it? And then repeating those positive affirmations instead of the negative ones until you finally believe it. And then even when you don't, even after you believe it, to keep repeating it to yourself, because it's like that groove, you know, there's a groove in our brain that has the programming that we've had. And now we need to change that groove and create another pathway, because our neural pathways, they literally can be reprogrammed. That's what's so beautiful about the brain.
I mean, this is rewiring, and there's a lot of neuroscience that's happening. There's someone that comes to mind, Dr. Joe Dispenza is somebody who I would recommend. He's kind of like the new age person who is really trying to crack the code of how do we really change our thoughts and feelings? How do we actually change them? And through meditation work and a lot of what you're talking about, repetition, he has proven that you can change your life. You change, again, all of these, like what people call cheesy sayings, change your thoughts, change your life. Like, we need to get back to that, because it's not cheesy. It's that simple, yet that difficult. Because the programming is so strong.
But we can
you can
change
do
it.
We
both said it at the same time.
We've done it.
Yes, we have. And we can continue to do it on whatever we're working on. So some of the resources for good mindset, Shad Helmstetter, so selftalkplus.com, Joe Dispenza, Quick Brain is another one, KWICAK. He has a great podcast. He has a great books and all kinds of things where he actually hurt his brain when he was a kid and came out and has changed it. And now he teaches people how to memorize and things like that. And so
that's cool.
So that one's really good. So we'll put those down in the show notes for everybody.
The 5-minute journal, I think, is really powerful. Even if somebody just does that, it will change your outlook for sure, with gratitude. And then there's another app that I can send you the link if you want to put it in the show notes. It's called Alan Mind. And it's a therapy app that was created in, I think it's based in France or the UK. And it's wonderful for reframing how we think and say things. It's very good. And so I'll send it to you. You'll love it. It helped me through some tough times, really. It was really instrumental. So
I think giving those resources, and anybody listening, if you have other resources, let us know. You know, reach out to me and let me know. I'm on all the social media. Both of us are. So Alyson's out there. I'm out there. And then you have a YouTube channel for realtors. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
So it is a work in progress. We're really excited about it. We started shooting content, again, a little, late to the party, but October 2021. So we have quite a bit of content up there. I want to shout out to Tim, my brother on our team, who does just such an amazing job with our videos.
Amazing.
Everyone's like, oh, do you have a person that does this? I was like, yeah, he's my brother and he works with us. So it just couldn't have worked out better. He's really honed his skills and worked really hard to make it look great. But I started a realtor mindset series for all of our agent referral partners. And it was really born out of just developing relationships with agents and talking about what was going on with them. It could be business, it could be personal. When you're open, other people will open up to you. And I thought I should probably make this bigger and put some of this stuff out there. And it has been so well received. I actually got a text message from an agent yesterday who was like, I cried listening to your last mindset
That's so
video,
great.
just because with everything I was feeling. And she felt so validated because
Yes.
we are in this business, it can be very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel really, really lonely. And through social media, it's one of the positives, creating a sense of community that we're all in this together.
Yes.
And really it's I think the last one was chasing clients. Chasing, burnout, chasing,
Yes.
feeling like you're spinning your wheels. And we're all salespeople. Everyone
Mhm.
feels that way.
Yeah.
So I have about 10 topics that I'm going to shoot additional content for. I have more topics than time, quite frankly. So
Yes.
that's how you know it's a good series.
Yeah. I can't wait. I've seen some of them and I can't wait to see
Yeah.
the ones in the future. So the YouTube channel, what's the name of it?
Yeah, you can just search Orlicki. It's Orlicki Group.
All right.
We
And
can
we'll
put
put
a
them in
link
the show
too.
notes. Yeah, we'll put the
Yeah.
link in the show notes. But what encouragement? So this is the final question that I have for you. Give us some encouragement for loan officers and other business owners, not just loan officers, but other business owners about the current times that we're in. What is some of your advice about how to navigate through these times that we're in?
That is a fantastic question. I would say a lot of what we mentioned before, we're not trying to say that you have to have a positive mindset all the time. You have to live in reality, but at the same time, choose what narratives are going to make you better, make your business stronger, and bring you through these times. We get to choose. We get to choose how we respond to things. We get to choose how we walk into our day. And if we do those things in a growth mindset with the self-talk and wanting to continue to be better as people, our businesses will be better. Our money will flourish. It will come. It starts with this.
Yes.
And I know that people out there are going to say, well, not everybody's this way. And I agree. There are some cranky billionaires out there, and they've done very well. There's not as many of them as, people would like you to believe.
Yeah.
Things are changing in this world, and having this foundation and having a sound mindset will allow you to grow in times where most people can't even open up their computer and make phone calls, because that's honestly what it is. Who's going to rise to this new normal?
Yes.
And who's not? And how are you going to get there?
Mm-hmm.
And like we talked about, there's no easy answer. If there was one thing everybody could do, more people would be doing it.
Yes.
We're all different, right? But
Yes.
finding what works for you, finding your tribe, finding your right team, and taking those steps forward, right?
Yep. Yep. One step at a time.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it starts with what we're saying to ourselves. It starts with that basis. So take a look at the resources that we're going to put down in the show notes, and really don't just watch them, but do something with it. Because learning something is great, but it's the implementation of what we learn that matters.
Yep.
So,
and the consistency, right?
Yes.
Finding what works for you. And I've tried, and I'm sure you have too, I've tried so many things.
Mm-hmm.
You will know, again, getting back to yourself, you will know what resonates with you.
Yes. Yes, you will. And don't beat yourself up if you do it one day and don't do it another day. It's a new habit. New habits take time to form. So you just have to remind yourself. That's all. Just be aware of it and remind yourself when it's time to do it. I know that's the journey I'm on. I no longer beat myself up. I remember the first business coach that I had years ago. He says, I remember him telling me, Irene, you beat yourself up a lot. He said, you beat yourself up too much. Just, look at the good that you do and go with that. And I learned that one thing from him. I learned a lot of things from him, but especially that one thing is not to beat myself up so much. And I think as we have more experiences and we grow as well, that we learn over time that certain things just don't serve us, and it won't do any good to do it. And as we're teaching other people, we have to walk the walk.
Oh yeah.
We can't just be teaching people to do things and not do it ourselves. So
if it's not authentic, people will know. They'll know inside. They'll know. And the lessons and the times you have to dust yourself off are just as important. Are you going to stay down in that for a month or a year? Or are you going to go,
Yes,
wow, that was really impactful. This is what I've learned. I'm going to continue to move forward.
that's it. That one thing that you just said was enough of a takeaway. So hopefully, I'm sure there were some takeaways from today, but I hope that that one thing that you just said about is going to be the takeaway as well. So thank you so much for being with us
Thank
today, Alyson.
you.
And I'm looking forward to our next one. We're going to plan another one as well. And I'm
Yes.
just super excited. I love the way that we just had this conversation. I'm grateful for you and our friendship. And we're so close to each other. And I'm just so grateful for you and for the things that we talk about and the things that we share and get
Yeah.
about each other. So thank you for being here.
Thank
And
you. I'm
for
so
those of
proud
you,
to have you part of my tribe.
I feel the same way about you. All right, everybody, have a great day, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you all so much for listening to today to Alyson and I. I know we went through different types of topics. I hope it helped you. I hope you've had some takeaways. And if you are a loan officer and you're looking for training for your teams, please visit us at loanteamtraining.com. We have 3 different classes there that might be of interest to you. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope it's wonderful.